Hey, thanks for joining me. So, not too long ago, I had a couple of stoner clowns hit me up and ask me if they could send me their comic. I was like, fuck no. Absolutely, I did not say that. I had a couple of guys hit me up and say, hey, we've got a book. Can we send it to you? Now, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that they did not ask me if I'd show it on the channel. Most people, I kind of get it. Most people kind of tend to like, I'll send you a copy of my book, but you don't have to show it on your channel. I'm like, no, I get it. I mean, let's be honest. Why else are some people kind of sending me stuff? Because I've got a little bit of a reach, a little bit, I've got, where am I at? 8,800 subscribers. Like, it's not nothing. It's not spectacular, but it's something. And so why not get the opportunity to get your stuff looked at? And so I have already done 2 videos for these fellas. And so this is Indie Comic Spotlight Rapid Fire video 3 for the day. I'm going to put out 3 videos in one day. And the others, I was kind of putting a 10-minute time limit on them, but they went like 13, 14 minutes. That's fine. So I'm kind of doing the same thing. But these guys, I like these fellas. They're nice guys. They sent me this first book, and I went through it on the channel, and I went through it, and it's fun. I liked what they were doing, but I did point out some things with them, specifically like their lettering was kind of awful. And I'm not somebody to talk about lettering and doing it right because I'm just an amateur guy, but you can kind of tell when it's not done super great. So then they take one little book, and then after some time passes, they send me another one, and suddenly this book is like twice as thick. So they put the first issue in here, and now I just drop it on the floor like an asshole. Sorry, fellas, but they send me little notes from the creative teams. Luke. So, they send me stuff, and I've read these on the channel. We kind of look at these things, and it's just awesome how they kind of send a little personalized little note. That stuff actually is kind of the most meaningful thing to me. That stuff is like, oh, yeah, thanks, fellas, including some original art. But what they did is then they printed up another book where they remastered the first book. And then they one of the things that they told me, and I really respect them for it, because again, you can take what I had to say with a grain of salt, because I'm not working professionally for anybody. But I had some suggestions, like these are the credit pages. This one over here is the original one for book 1, and this one over here is the one for book 2. Massive upgrade in style, because I was like, look, you just list yourself, Luke, and then you have Jacob doing the cover, and then I'm like, it's in a font that's a little bit hard to read, and you're just repeating yourself over. And I was like, I suggested just put your name once and make it big and bold, and then put what you've done under it. I think that's a better approach. And then they took it to heart, and they kind of come up with their own thing. And like, I think this other one works 1,000 times better. It looks great. Like, they listened, they applied, and created something that looks better. And again, I'm not an expert on this shit, but I think most people would agree, just looking at that, it's a massive upgrade in terms of style and look and readability. And then, so they also recolored the original book and then upgraded their lettering. Like, for example, let me find a matching page here. This is hard to do it with one hand. They recolored and relettered. So here is the same page side by side. But again, if you look at the lettering going on here and then the lettering going on over there, it's a massive upgrade. And again, they recolored it and made some other color choices. So I like that they want to improve. They want to get better. They want to make comics, They're like, okay, so like, we're not Alex Ross or anything like that with like this amazing full painted coloring artwork, but we want to tell our stories and put in our silly adventures, our sense of humor. And again, it's like I'm kind of hesitant to be like, they took my advice. Who gives a shit what I've got to say? I do have some knowledge. I think that the advice I give out is relatively accurate, and I think most people would agree. But they applied it, and they wanted to learn and get better, and they did. So they had the original issue, and then they threw in a whole nother separate issue, the continuing story in the back. And again, their lettering was massively upgraded. And they throw in some, information. I love this type of shit here, where you get to know the creators. They're 18, 19, and 20 years old. So these are just young guys. I'm sitting over here being a 49-year-old grumpy fuck. But, like, these guys want to make comics. I love that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's not a huge portion of the creative kind of artist community out there that's young that wants to make comics. It's all kind of like middle-aged fuckers like myself. Obviously there are young people who want to make comics, but I love that they want to do this and they throw all this stuff in here. They want to make a book. They want to be like, look, sons of bitches, fuck y'all, I made a comic book. Here it is. And they did. So these were the first ones that they've already sent me. Here I've blown almost 6 minutes talking about the original shit they sent me. Now they sent me this one. And these fuckers, look how thick this book is. This is a whole-on graphic novel. Like, that first one, just by comparison. Thin little basic comic, and suddenly book 3 is a graphic novel. And then book 2 was just a reprint of this plus new material. So this is a whole new thing. So guys, I don't have enough time to burn through your entire book on the channel here. We'll show it off. But again, just to show the dedication to these guys that are like super interested in making comics. They want to get better. They want to tell their stories. They work on it. They produce a shit ton of art, a shit ton of pages. They color it, they format it, however they get the means to print it up. Like, guys, like, props, dude. I talk to people about this all the time. It's kind of a version of a speech I give on my live streams, because people show up and ask me, like, how do I make a comic? What's the best advice you could give for someone who wants to make a comic? I'm like, fucking make the comic. Get to work. Stop talking about it. Stop wondering about it. Stop lore building. Stop doing character designs and sketches. Start making pages. Make the comic and get going. And eventually, you have a giant fucking graphic novel. Now, again, you're going to be extremely critical of your own work whenever you look at the stuff that you've done, because all you're going to see is the mistakes. But if you keep making it and you keep moving forward, you just get better. And then, if you make a book, you hit me up. There's a good chance I could show it on the channel for you. I'm trying to be I've kind of had this thing where I didn't intend for this to happen, but I'm trying to push people who keep saying, I want to make a comic, but. And I want to turn that but into I did it. And the motivation that I feel like I can help is, if you make it, I'll show it. And these guys, well, now they get a third video. So again, I'm not going to burn through the whole book, guys. I can't go through the whole thing. It's too long. But again, once again, they send me a handwritten fucking note. And I got to bust on Luke's balls, because this motherfucker's got the nicest handwriting I've ever seen anywhere, especially from a dude. My handwriting looks like ass. And this is fantastic. Again, I know this doesn't matter, but good job for having spectacular handwriting. Now, this is dated May, the end of May, and here we are at the beginning of August. So I've had this book in my hand for a minute, but that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, front and back. So, he's like, Rob, I've been digging the videos lately, especially Dragon and Battle Beast. Looking forward to your new book too. Looks riotous. I'm still waiting for the Invincible comic retrospective, just like I'm waiting for the new Spawn movie, right? Like, I think we'll all be waiting on that forever. But for real, thanks for the honest comic reviews. The one you did for Beware the Reefer opened our eyes to the areas we needed to fix ASAP, specifically the lettering. It made me realize that parts of the book it made me realize that part of the book is the most subtle yet crucial aspect for the reader. If it's bad, then it hinders the whole reading experience. So I went to my local comic shop and bought the Essential Guide to Comic Book Lettering by Nate Picos? I'm probably saying that wrong. The Letterer of Dork. Oh, that's awesome. I studied that book along with YouTube. It massively helped me. The other areas like the art and color were easier by comparison. I've always drawn on paper since I was a kid. I don't see a reason to switch yet. I use traditional 11 by 17 paper. Hell yeah. My goal was to make this story feel modern yet classic with the coloring. I opted for Silver Age look, as those have the best colors for me. I'm not really a big fan of the super realistic style that present day titles have. That all depends. on the artist, though, because Leone's work is an example of computer colorings. He's talking about the colors on Battle Beast. Annalisa Leone work is an example of computer coloring strength. Anyway, Jacob and I wanted to do our spin on the evil wizard archetype, but also everything else we find funny. An example is our character Scion, who is literally a Spawn parody because I'm a fan of 90s Image. I hope it's a fun read, and we're always still open to critique, but rest assured, I'd never send in something that I'm not passionate about. I can sum it up with the Steve Ditko quote, "I draw for a tough critic, me." Also, shout out to my homies who did the art for the book. Cats with Glocks, the Wizard, and Flex Shield. The latter is a member of your Discord. Till next time, Rob Luke. So just listen to everything he said. He's like, I want to make this shit good. I went out and bought things to learn how to do it better. I studied, I read, I applied, and it's important to him to make the book the best possible thing that he can. And then he writes a beautifully handwritten love letter. And then from Jacob Selden, sorry, I mispronounced it. I have a friend named Sheldon, sorry. During the writing of the new volume of Fred 1, I constantly thought back on the criticism that you mentioned in the review of our first story, and I think that you'll agree with me when I say that they did not go unheard. In this new story, you will find more character interaction, action, suspense, world building, and dope visuals than any of our other stories. I tried to take into account the fact that you felt confused by who our characters were, so I wanted to take a more personal approach by following our protagonists as they go about a regular night and build further on the dynamics of their relationships. I understand that nothing in the story really explains the origins of our characters, but hey, at least you know now that Bluntfella lives in a cave, and that's some personal information, I suppose. Regardless, this is a much more polished and cared for project with experience gained and criticisms received. We have crafted our longest and most dramatic book yet. Hopefully you enjoy. So again, these guys, these young dudes, take this shit seriously. And for that, if nothing else, I'm just like, thank you guys for going out of your way to like want to make a thing and do it the right way. And then they send me some, original art and stuff like that. Just sketches and funny stuff like that. So that stuff is fun. So here we are 12 minutes into it. I haven't even cracked it open. But like I said, guys, I can't go through the whole thing. I do love the After Frank Miller. That is awesome. Warning, explicit content. I mean, it's not really that explicit. It's not like we're opening up a XXX rated book. Don't worry about that. Again, look at this credits page. Remember that first one I was showing you before and then the upgraded one on issue 2? Look at what they've done here. Full-on connections to where you can find them and then little breakdowns of each character. Like, damn. Like, these guys have learned and applied. Bright, colorful stuff. Issue 1, a mostly succulent night. So they were talking about they want to do a trope of like a wizard thing. And so, you've got this wizard character. For 15 years of my life, that's how long I spent studying at Merlin's School of Evocation. Am I saying that right? While there, it seemed an eternity before I'd become a great wizard. And those thoughts only sprouted from my mind due to my naive brain soil, which hadn't yet understood eternity. I eventually graduated top of my class at only 15. Then shortly after I turned 18, I became an official sorcerer of the King's Guard. What more could an aspiring wizard ask for? So you're getting kind of a good kind of introduction to this wizard character. And honestly, the writing sounds good. Like, I've read books from other, like, more mature, quote unquote, mature guys where the wording, it was a little bit harder it was hard to get through. This, it flows. But, he's talking about there are these battles going, he's part of the wizard guard, and his post that night was directly outside Princess Guinevere's room, who, aside from being the king's daughter, was also the most banging chick of all the land. I'm like, all right, I like you guys. I like where you're going with this. There was no chance, though, somebody with a commoner blood like me would lose my head for something like that. But I guess you should never lose hope, because wizard guy checks in on the princess. She's like, nothing's wrong, because he's like, is something wrong? She said, there's nothing wrong. I came to talk to you. And she gives him a winky winky. She got the Princess Leia kind of bun hairdo thing. I like that. So our dude, The wizard dude, he says, we had a time that night, but unfortunately, yet expectedly, my comrade noticed something was up. So like his buddy's like, where's my buddy? Where's he at? So he kicks in the door and he walks in on him banging the princess. Like I like her little feet in the air. So he socks him in the face, drags his beat ass out through the room. And then he basically goes through a trial where they're like, you're stupid for banging the king's daughter. You shouldn't be doing that type of shit. So they burn him, they torture him, and they go through this whole kind of back and forth how they're going to execute him, chop his head off. And then giant blast of energy. The guy's jumping up, all this grotesque body horror stuff. It's like he splits into two. As he falls to the ground, he got his little nutsack hanging out. And magical wizard stuff going on. And he eventually, the character ends up in modern day. So you're setting up the wizard guy, because the story is called The Wrath of the Weapon Wizard. I kind of like that. But then you're going to get into the modern day, and we're going to run into the characters. Like there's this little flying bug guy, and then this giant satanic demon guy, and then like the regular kid with the hood on. And they have their adventures. Again, this book it's very big. It's a lot of book to go through. So I will have links to the description where you can get a hold of these guys. I love this kind of page with the coloring and like the coloring highlight on the side of the guy. That's actually really cool. But there's this whole ass adventure. It's funny. Again, like I said, these guys are really going out of their way to craft something, and it's a different style. We're not looking at Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane here, right? But these are guys who are like, are going to fucking make this book. And, here it is, like 3 issues in, gone but not forgotten. Look at that giant close-up on the face. You'll never take me alive. But yeah, just massive story, lots of work. I wonder how long it took them to make this, guys. Hey, hit me up in the comments. How long did it take you guys to make this thing and get it done? It looks like it would have taken forever. I kind of want to draw this monstrous satanic guy. That's kind of on my bucket list to do. It's such a weird design. This guy right here. It's like, I want to draw him just to see what I would kind of pump out from that dude. And then they do one of my favorite things. Like, again, I wanted these videos to kind of stay 10 minutes-ish, and we're gonna probably hit 20 for these guys. Where they give you some backstory on who they are and what their kind of interests are. And then they throw in some behind the scenes shit. There's scripts, just actual straight up photos of them creating the book, writing it out, highlighting it, editing it, sketchy, working out storyboards and stuff like that. Like just a complete behind the scenes thing. And it goes on for several pages. That type of shit I really like. That is so fun, like to see the process. Like you've got all this material, all these behind the scenes sketches and layouts and scripts and notebooks. Why not just show it? Like I'm interested in that type of stuff. It's badass. So there's that cover, after the Frank Miller image, the Wolverine shot, with the finger saying, come get me. And then there's the original black and white. That's badass. There's the cover without any text treatments. A lot of weird, creepy, fun stuff. Look at this pinup from this guy taking that weird demon monster thing that I want to draw. Like, I want to try and do that. It's pretty awesome shit. But, it's no small feat, guys. So, what can I say? Jacob Selden, Luke Loudon. I've never been entirely sure on how to pronounce your name, my dude. But you guys are making some hella strides, and you're creating. Like, I hope that you feel a sense of satisfaction. You should. I mean, it's hard to get an audience on anything. Like, it's one thing if you make a thing and maybe you've only sold 5 copies or whatever. I know what that's like, trust me. But you've made it, and it's there, and it exists. And there's so many people that cannot say the same. They can't say the same. They'll talk about, oh, I'm going to do a thing. You're like, Even if it's someone who's like 1,000 times better artist than you. But if they haven't made shit, then it doesn't matter. That massive skill set in terms of being to draw like McFarlane or whatever your favorite artist is. If there's some kind of random guy out there who's an incredible artist, Instagram is filled with like the best artists out there, but they just do pinups and they call themselves comic book artists. I'm like, no, fucking these guys right here, Jacob and Luke, are comic book artists because they made a goddamn comic. Like they made a straight up book that you can read. These guys who only do pinups or do nothing but talk about what they're going to do, they ain't shit compared to you guys who made a story. You guys hold all the respect in my heart every time when you make a book and you put it out there and you got a physical thing that people can read. So credit and props to you guys for making your shit. Even if you send me a giant ass graphic novel, good Lord, what a bunch of effort you guys put into that thing. Like, that's commendable to say the least, guys. So anyway, Fred the Plug presents Wrath of the Weapon Wizard. Craziness, guys. I'll have a connection to in the description for these guys if you want to seek him out. But that's all I've got for this one. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.